Hey guys, Alex V here with today's random word of the day. Today, as promised, we are going to deviate from our random words of the day and we're going to do a digital marketing moment, DMM. So coming at you with today's digital marketing moment. What's today's digital marketing moment about? We're going to be talking about the 3 important reasons why you need to focus on structuring your digital marketing team with your marketers at the head of your decision-making process versus your makers, okay? So first we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between marketers and makers, right? And then we're going to talk about the 3 really, really important reasons. It's just going to be a high-level overview. Don't worry, I'm not going to take up more than 5 minutes of your time. But this is really important for all those people out there, business owners, or people that are building small to medium to even large enterprise size digital marketing teams. Listen up, because this is going to be kind of your quicksilver guide on structuring your digital marketing team the way that it should be structured. And we're going to do some other digital marketing moments in the future on some of the conceptual and foundational bases for how you really want to structure your team in terms of who owns what in the cycle of digital marketing and prospecting. But for now, what we're going to focus on is the difference between makers and marketers on your team. Here's the deal. Most people confuse making and marketing still in digital marketing, okay? They think that they've got a team of people, or maybe they have 1 or 2 people, or just one person, and they're good at graphic arts, and so they're making, website pages, they're making landing pages, or they're writing some things on their website, they're doing a blog, and, they are out there in terms of trying to get SEO traffic to their blog, and then they're posting things that they do on their blog to social media. They're passively posting it to their Facebook account and their Twitter account, and they're sitting there and blah, nothing's happening. They're gathering digital dust. They're not getting prospects. They're not getting leads. I have news for you. Everything that I just told you, it's not really marketing. A lot of people are probably going to flame me for saying that, but it's making. You're making stuff. You're making assets. You're making pages. You're writing lines of code. You're using cool images that you have the license to use, or you're using royalty-free images to create all your visuals. You are, passively posting to social media accounts, but really that all falls into the category of just making things. You're not marketing until you actually involve tacticians, and tacticians by nature usually fall into one of these categories. Either it's an email marketing tactician, either it's a paid search marketing tactician, and that means Google AdWords or Bing ads or Google Display Network or in-stream YouTube videos or, GDN, retargeting, anything that involves $1 behind a click. That's your tactician that's dealing with paid search and retargeting and all that. Programmatic campaigning, again, costs money. Paid social, this is actual prospecting, whether it's lead gen paid social, using Twitter and Facebook for lead gen versus using it just for brand awareness and engagement. So that's the deal, guys. That is the deal. That's the difference between making and marketing, right? So what does that mean for you? What are the 3 reasons that you got to bring your marketers up front in your decision-making process versus your makers, okay? Well, we're going to talk about that really quick, okay? So here's the deal. The 3 reasons are, and I call them the 3 L's, okay? 1, your tacticians, the people that are actually going to be spending your money to actually market something, okay? They know, the first L, the limitations. They know the limitations of the campaign platforms, okay? They should be experts in what these platforms can and cannot do. Okay, what are the limitations of Google Display Network? How many placements can you load into it at a time? What are the limitations of running YouTube in-stream videos? In the old Google AdWords platform, you can only add them in like 500 placements at a time. In the new beta version of it, you can actually add thousands in at a time. But they would know that. They're the tacticians. So when it goes to finding the right placements that they're going to actually place your ad on, they know the limitations. Why is that important? Well, it's important because you got to begin with the end in mind. You got to understand that as a tactician, they're going to be really responsible for the success or failure of a campaign or a tactic. So they're going to be calling those shots for you on your behalf, and they're going to be the one that's answering to you as the business owner or the executive or the head of the department. And so if you start with somebody that doesn't have that L firmly in mind, guess what? A lot of times the tactics are not going to match up. You're going to start hemorrhaging impressions. You're going to start hemorrhaging clicks. You're going to start to see kind of like weak conversion rates because it turns into like a spray and pray scenario. And a lot of times this happens because makers are in charge, okay? Because we're concerned about making things that look pretty And then we're like, yeah, and then we just load them, and, you know, we just start firing tactics off. You know, like, yeah, we loaded it into AdWords. Yeah, we loaded it into GDN. Well, you know what? If you didn't start with a marketer at the head of that decision-making process, guess what? You deserve that outcome, okay? So that's the first L. Number two, they have the learning, okay? And when I say learning, it's kind of a weird L word, but what I mean is they've got the audience insights, okay? When they're running the tactics, they're also going to be the ones that's going to look at the analytics, or they're going to look at the audience insights on Facebook. They're going to know which profile is actually working, which audience is actually working. They're going to be the one to adjust the campaign accordingly. They're going to be the one that can actually pull that segment or create a segment from Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics based on the traffic that they've been driving via a tactic, and then they can resegment that and say, hey, let's adjust the creative. They're the ones that go back to the makers and say, we have this learning, and we're going to adjust our tactics based on that, right? But they should be the ones that's in charge of that, the tactician, the actual marketer, okay? So that's, you know, that's thing number two. They have the learning. And lastly, this is very important. People, you know, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty here. They're the ones that should dictate the landing page. The landing pages, okay, or the landing, wherever somebody's going to land on your website. And here's why, and that includes like an actual Facebook lead gen form, which might not necessarily come all the way back to your site, or a Facebook Canvas experience where somebody's actually going to stay on Facebook but still commit a lead generation action. They're the person that should be in charge of that. Why? Because of everything we just talked about, okay? They know the limitations, they have the learning about the audience insights. If they're doing paid search, they're going to be the one in charge of matching up, you know, the dynamic keyword insertion, making sure that what somebody's searching matches the intent of where they land. So to have a maker in charge of that, which a lot of agencies still do, believe it or not, you know, they sit around and they're like, oh, let's make this look pretty, let's make this look experiential, it's going to be so great. And then they end up with an image on this landing page that totally does not match the intent of what somebody was searching to get there, right? And then they're like, why is our conversion rate off? Well, because your makers are in charge of creating, you know, all this pretty stuff. It means nothing. Nothing, right? It's not matching up with how you should structure your digital marketing team, which is to bring your marketers forward, the people that are your tacticians. So that's the difference between makers and marketers. That's today's digital marketing moment. Remember, your marketers are going to be your people. They know the limitations of the platform. They have the learning and the audience insights. They know exactly what should happen when somebody lands somewhere on your landing page or otherwise. So they should be the ones that are really dictating the tactical mix, the strategy, being the head of all those discovery meetings that are happening when you launch a campaign. They should really be the ones that are handing down the strategy, or at least articulating the strategy to your makers. And for smaller companies, yes, I grant you that sometimes the marketer and the maker is the same person, or they have dual roles, and I get that, but it should always start with the marketing mentality first of your marketers versus your makers. So that's today's digital marketing moment. Thanks for tuning in to Random Words of the Day. We'll keep these coming at you. If you like what we're doing here, please hit subscribe below, and we will keep these coming at you. Got some Power of Threes videos coming up next week, more digital marketing moment videos coming up next week, and definitely we'll keep the Random Words of the Day coming for some of those unusual words that we use in our nomenclature, you know, in digital marketing and in the workplace in other situations. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.